Good morning, this is Randy. I was thinking about how easy it is for people to become flying monkeys. I thought about what it would be like to present my own ex-narcissist husband's version of our relationship to an unassuming person and what it might sound like. So it might go something like this from the narcissist's point of view, while he's actually completely omitting seriously essential information in between to gaslight the listener. So his story might go something like this. Well, I met her at the beach and I thought she was really cute. We invited her and her friends over for dinner. I got pretty drunk and we kissed that night at the end of the night, and then I got her number and I called her. I was randomly, casually dating a couple other people, and I had just gotten a divorce. I was really in a bad situation, had lost my driver's license and was about to move out of my town, and I also didn't have a job. So she contacted me and invited me to a graduation party, and we went and had a lot of fun. We started dating, and eventually I admitted to her that I had 4 kids. I was really embarrassed about having so many kids at a young age, so I didn't tell her about it right away. But I was afraid because I was afraid she wouldn't accept it. And then when I finally did tell her, I guess it was about a year later, that I had 4 kids, and then she accepted it, I knew that she was the one for me, because I knew that she would love me and my kids. So I introduced her to my kids. We did a lot of things together, and things were pretty good. I helped her pick out a house, and I worked on her house, made a whole bunch of improvements to the house on my own time. And, things were pretty good. When I first started to see problems is her interacting with my kids. I mean, there was 4 of them, all under the age of 9 at the time, and she just didn't really always want to cook for them and clean up after them, and I could tell that she just didn't love them the same way as she loved her own child. And I was trying to reconsider. I thought, did I make a mistake here? Because I want a woman who loves my children. And she kind of set rules for them and was always tense and on edge when they were over. So I wasn't sure if I had made the right decision, so I confronted her about it. I told her that she's not being nice to my kids, and she better be nice to them, because I'm a good father, and I want someone who's gonna, love my kids and be really super nice and loving to them all the time. So that was one of her biggest flaws at the beginning. But we kind of got through it. She convinced me that she, it was unrealistic for her to be in love with my kids and financially supporting them and doing everything for them, when she wasn't even their mother or their stepmother, because we weren't married. And that, they were always coming over to her house where I lived, and she was always responsible for everything in the home, including paying the bills. And the reason why she had to pay all the bills was because I had a lot of child support. I had those court fees. I had to get a breathalyzer in my car because of the DUIs, and I wasn't making much money on my job, and I had like sky high child support. So that's why she had to pay for everything, because I had to pay my child support. Yeah, I didn't pay the child support all the time because I didn't have the money, and those child support assessments are wrong anyway. I mean, they're really unrealistic. And my ex-wife tricked me into having those 4 kids anyway. She said she was on birth control, and she wasn't. And, I didn't really want that many kids, but I guess after I had them, it was like, I figured, cool, they were such cute little babies. Anyway, the next big problem with my relationship with Randy was that we had different sex drives. I wanted to have sex twice a day, and she did at first too. She seemed like it, but then later on, she didn't feel like having sex twice a day with me, and I felt really bad about myself when she would deny and refuse me. So I told her, I was going to go somewhere else if she wouldn't give it to me, because it's natural. It's just the man's biological need, and that's what a wife's for. They're supposed to be subservient, and they're supposed to comply. And when she would complain about her housework and smash around dishes in the kitchen, she'd be real angry and passive aggressive, and I just didn't understand what was bugging her so bad. I mean, what's the big deal about doing dishes, And then she would get on me about collecting items and bringing a lot of different items into the home, and she'd say I was disorganized, I was lazy. Then she got on me about my drinking, and she stopped drinking every night with me, and she just wasn't fun. She just got real boring. She was like a nag. She turned into a nag. Her expectations of me were so out of this world. I mean, it was definitely not the person that I met at the beginning who seemed, really cool. She just all of a sudden, or gradually I should say, she got boring, naggy, and she was just always on my case for not working. She was on my case for not paying the bills. And I cooked for her too, and she would just get on my case about the mess that I would make in the kitchen. She was such a bitch. And then on top of that, her not being willing to have sex with me twice a day. So, when the internet came out, I just started playing around on it, and I, found some different websites with girls on there, and I saw, a whole new world. I saw that, there's a bunch of girls on here who do want to have sex, and I don't have to pay for it. It's going to be free. It's I thought, this is awesome. This is cool. And these girls, are going to give me variety sexually. I won't have to give them anything, and nobody's going to find out if I meet them. I'm going to check this out. I'm curious. I'm just curious about it. And so I started meeting some different girls that I met off of, found on Craigslist, and it was some awesome sexual experiences, and it was just wham bam, thank you ma'am, you're done. And I did have to collect some phone numbers, and so that we could communicate easier. And I tried to hide some of my history on the internet, but of course, Randy, Miss Detective, found some of this stuff. So she would take advantage of me when I got drunk, and she would, I think, wake up in the middle of the night and check my phone. She was totally invading my privacy, and I had warned her as it was that if she kept nagging and, if she wasn't going to give me sex whenever I wanted, that I was going to go somewhere else. So she was given full warning, and, it was her fault that I had to go and meet these other girls. And I ended up thinking that I fell in love with one of them. Yeah, I mean, they were at least 20 years younger than me, usually, but they made me feel young and alive. So, they weren't boring. They didn't have any responsibilities, and they really needed me because they looked up to me and just thought they really liked my advice. They thought I was kind of like father figure to them. So we got along really great, and I just realized one day, you know what? Any of these young girls is going to be better than Randy. I just don't need to put up with that shit anymore out of Randy. She was even becoming aggressive with me physically when I didn't even do anything, or I'd say the smallest thing and she'd want to attack me. So, I mean, I wasn't about to put myself in the position where she's going to call the police and send me to jail or say that I raped her. So I knew I had to get out of that situation. So I just started, trying to build a more permanent relationship with a couple of the different girls I met on Craigslist. And they were both, at least I found two of them that were really interested in me and wanted to have a more permanent relationship with me. I figured that, what do I have to lose? They're going to absolutely be better than Randy. And they really look up to me and admire me. They value my wisdom, and I can teach them a lot in the bedroom because they're not experienced in that way. And, they're, hungering for sex and attention. And so these girls are much more appropriate for me. They're not going to say I'm lazy. They drink just as much as me, so that's not going to be a problem. And I don't need a mother for my kids anymore because my kids are grown. So, anyway, I still love Randy, but she didn't take well to me having these other girls on the side, and she absolutely went crazy when she found out about it. She really exaggerated the situation because, after all, most guys cheat, and it's just, that's just our nature. And I really don't know why she was making such a big deal about it. So anyway, unfortunately, she made a big damn deal about it, and I had to move out of my house. And so that's how our relationship ended and why. And I don't really know why she's so upset. I mean, she's the one who did all of this, not me. Thanks for listening.